The year was 2004. The World Series of Poker was in full swing, and the final tables pulsed with tension. Under the blinding lights, each move was worth millions. And at the center sat Josh Ari. In front of him, towers of chips gleamed like stacks of gold. Hand after hand, he dominated, reading his opponents, bullying the table, and scooping pot after pot. Commentators leaned forward, whispering, "This is his tournament to lose." Then, in one hand, just one, everything changed. Josh Ari shoved hard, trying to scare his opponent into folding. But this time, the other man didn't blink. Instead, he called. The cards turned over. Gasps erupted, and in a heartbeat, a mountain of chips slid across from Ari. For a professional poker player, this should have been nothing more than a stumble. Most would take a breath, reset, and stick to the strategy that built the lead. But Ari didn't breathe. He couldn't reset. The loss hit him like a punch to the chest. And in his mind, all he could think about was, "I'll get it back. Right now." Cool-headed analysis vanished, replaced by emotional autopilot. Every chip went to the middle in a single, reckless push, then bust. Without hesitation, he did it again, and the outcome was the same. Hand after hand, the calm tactician turned into a gambler chasing ghosts. And within an hour, it was all over. Ari's commanding chip fortress had vanished. The seemingly invincible champion reduced to nothing, his path to legend status severed in an instant. The bitter reality is that technical mastery didn't betray him. Fortune didn't abandon him. His mindset collapsed when his emotions took over. A single setback infected his judgment, and rather than maintaining composure, he self-destructed. Now, let's shift the focus to your trading journey. How often does this identical drama unfold behind your computer screen? One losing position, the burn of negative P&L, anger building, and suddenly risk management becomes irrelevant. The disciplined analyst vanishes, replaced by someone increasing position sizes, pursuing losses, and frantically trying to erase the error. Josh Ari's story shows what happens when emotion takes over. And this video is about making sure you stop falling into the same trap. You will learn how to become the trader who doesn't break, who doesn't chase, and who doesn't panic. Because what you're about to see will help you understand not just the plan, but the reason behind it. The amygdala hijack. Emotions hijack judgment faster than most realize. There is a phenomenon in psychology called amygdala hijack, a term coined by psychologist Daniel Goleman. It happens when the amygdala, the brain's emotional alarm system, detects a threat and takes over. This hijack happens in less than 1/10 of a second, faster than most people even realize. In that instant, the body flips into fight or flight mode, bypassing rational thought. Judgment is pushed aside, and survival instincts surge to the front. And the result comes in ways that makes us react immediately, often with far more intensity than the situation deserves. Only later do we look back, shocked at ourselves, wondering, why did I respond that way? And this doesn't just happen in markets. It happens everywhere, and it can destroy lives. In April 2024, in Ohio, an 81-year-old grandfather named William Brock became the victim of what is known as the grandparent scam. He received a phone call claiming that his loved ones were in danger and that their lives were at risk unless he acted right away. The scammers demanded thousands of dollars. Fear flooded his system. Protective instinct overpowered reason, a signal the amygdala hijack had begun. Around the same time, Lolitha Hall, a 61-year-old retired tax agency worker and part-time Uber driver, accepted a routine ride request through her app. She had no idea she was walking into the middle of someone else's nightmare. Her assignment was simple: pick up a package from Brock's home in South Charleston. But when she arrived, Brock wasn't seeing an Uber driver. In his hijacked emotional state, he saw a possible accomplice of the scammers. Instead of recognizing her as an innocent woman just doing her job, his brain painted her as the enemy. He confronted her with a gun. Hall asked calmly about the package she was sent to collect, unaware of the storm of fear raging in his mind. She was unarmed, confused, and terrified. But to Brock, every word, every gesture was filtered through panic, and when Hall tried to return to her car, Brock opened fire, shooting her repeatedly, inflicting fatal injuries that caused her to fall to the ground. The grandmotherly Uber driver, who had simply shown up for a routine pickup, died later at the hospital. William Brock was arrested and charged with murder, assault, and kidnapping. This tragic story shows just how powerful emotional hijacks can be. A single phone call, a threat, a surge of fear, and in moments, rational judgment collapsed, leaving devastation behind. We as traders face the same dynamic every day, only that the battlefield is the market. When your account balance swings violently, when a sudden drop feels like danger, your brain reacts as if your very survival is at stake. Fear hijacks your judgment, greed takes the wheel, and just like Brock, you can end up making irreversible decisions that sabotage everything. When the next market swing hits, will your emotions hijack your judgment? Or will you be ready to slow down, breathe, and stick to your plan? Of course, you will probably answer yes, but the real question is this: do you actually have a plan to deal with the amygdala hijack? If your answer is no, stay with me, because in the rest of this video, you will discover exactly how to deal with the amygdala hijack. Or, if you prefer, how to avoid emotional trading. How to avoid emotional trading. 3 essential strategies. Trading is fundamentally rigged against the human nature. We're emotional beings, and the market exploits this weakness mercilessly. But there are 3 things you can start doing now to break free from this trap. 1. Make trading your secondary income. The biggest mistake beginners make is depending on trading for survival. When your rent depends on your next trade, every loss triggers your survival instincts, and rational thinking disappears. The solution is to secure another income source first. When trading isn't your lifeline, you detach from outcomes. You stop forcing trades out of desperation. You can finally play the long game, which is thinking in terms of 3 to 5 years instead of 3 to 5 weeks. Start with capital you can afford to lose. Risk little as 0.5% per trade until you are consistently profitable, then scale to 1%. A modest 3% monthly growth compounds to nearly triple your account in 3 years. But this only works when you're not trading scared money. 2. Trade fewer markets. Trade better. Every chart you watch is another door for emotions to enter. Monitoring 5 markets means 5 times the noise, 5 times the false signals, 5 times the emotional triggers. This creates decision fatigue. Your discipline weakens with every choice you face. The solution to this problem is to become a sniper, not a machine gunner. Focus on 1 or 2 markets you know intimately. Master specific setups you have tested and trust. Choose quality over quantity, always. When you narrow your focus, you eliminate most of the emotional noise. Your brain isn't constantly bombarded with opportunities that aren't really opportunities. Instead, you become that person or trader who waits patiently for their edge, and then execute with precision. Less watching means less reacting, and less reacting means better trading. 3. Control your screen time. After a loss, you glue yourself to the screen, watching every tick. Your heart races with each candle. Every small move feels like vindication or disaster. And eventually, you crack, placing another trade not because it's your strategy, but just to release the tension. What you need to do instead is to create strict boundaries around screen time. When emotions spike, That sweaty palms, racing thoughts, and that desperate urge to do something. You should step away immediately, close your charting platform, take a walk, or do anything that breaks the emotional loop. Set specific times to check markets, perhaps every 60 minutes, or only when a candle closes on your time frame. Most price movements are meaningless noise, but when you're staring at them, your brain treats each wiggle as critical information. The truth is, the more you watch, the more you will likely trade on impulse. But the less you watch, the more space your rational mind has to operate. C. Emotional trading isn't a character flaw, it's human nature. The markets are designed to trigger your deepest fears and desires. I'm hopeful that with what you've seen in this video, you can build a buffer between your emotions and your trading decisions. Trade with money you don't need. Focus on fewer, better opportunities. And most importantly, give yourself space to think by limiting your exposure to market noise. Master these principles, and you'll find that profitable trading isn't about conquering the market. It's about conquering yourself. There's one question that haunts every struggling trader. What do the winners know that I don't? In this recommended video, we break down the psychological patterns Jack Schwager uncovered in his book, Market Wizards. These are the hidden mindsets and habits that turned ordinary traders into legends. Watch it now and thank me later. If you found this video valuable and helpful, please hit the like button, drop a comment, and subscribe so you don't miss our videos in the future. Until the next time, may the trend be with you.